And today on TLC Live, we're going to talk about Leadership Latino, and that's why we're going to have Gena Prickette. She is the Director of Leadership Latino on our upcoming class in August. Also, we're going to have Yuri Gonzalez. She is the City of Pharr spokesperson. She is the Director of Communication of City of Pharr, and also she is going to be attending the class in Leadership Latino. And today I have the honor to have my co-host guest. He is Hadi Suheil. He is not only a candidate of Harris County Precinct Chair 0274, but he's also my son, and he's debuting today in TLC Live. And he is filling up for Orlando Sanchez. Welcome to TLC Live, as every Wednesday at 11 in the morning. And I am so honored to introduce to you Hadi Suheil, my son. This is the first time that you co-host with me live. We've been doing a lot of things before together, but now this is the first time. And welcome and thank you for not only your time being here at the show, but also for your dedication and the conservative values, and now running for candidate of Harris County Precinct Chair 0274.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, before we introduce our guests, I want to talk to you a little bit about how did you started as a young age, because you just turned 18, your interest in politics, and not only in politics, but in the conservative side.
Yeah, so I kind of started a little bit about 2 years ago in COVID-19, working with you as a film or editor, and I got in touch with Orlando, TLC. I was able to get really involved in conservative politics, and over the past summer, I've been involved with several organizations like Turning Point, Leadership Institute, ACC, and many of that like, and I've really gotten involved this summer. I've been on trips to West Palm Beach, DC twice, and I just graduated from the Youth Leadership School for Leadership Institute. So I've really been involved, and I'm really excited to run for this position. Uh, I've been really inspired by guys like Joel Castro, Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm just very excited to keep continuing on this journey.
So everything I always say in this program that everything comes from home and the values that you learn at your house. So because not only that you met Orlando and TLC and Shannon and everybody that is involved in the organization, doesn't mean that that will be just something for you to get involved in this. What else it hits you that is happening at your school, in the country, in the community, in Houston, and everything that you've been seeing, and also, bringing your values from home that make you think like, this is something that I need to do, not only for myself, but, being in this country, son of immigrants, and seeing everything that is going on.
Yeah, so I was privileged to go to Strake Jesuit. They have a very objective education. They don't really, or they aren't biased at all when they teach, but when you see schools like HISD and a lot of failing programs that are trying to indoctrinate children, the education system is failing, we're taking our taxpayer money to the wrong places, it really motivates me to have a change in my community. And yeah.
So now, recently, you during the summer, and instead of just going on, parties and having fun with your friends, like any other kid at your age has been doing, and it's okay because you guys 18. You decide to start like engaging and attending different conferences around the country in Florida and Washington D.C. and you were invited recently to Florida and Orlando, but you're not gonna be able to go. And then out of that, you decide that the best way to start it and getting an advice for somebody in a Turning Point USA is running for candidate as a Harris County Precinct Chair. So tell me about the experience during this summer and how did you get to this point?
Yeah, so the experience this summer really taught me how to effectively win in a race in any campaign. It taught me how to outreach the youth, how to mobilize voters on my campus, and I think that'll really assist me in my running for precinct chair. The basis of a precinct chair is basically in that section that you are running for, in that section of your neighborhood or your city or town, you're really trying to mobilize the voters there, maximize whatever party you're running for, which for me it's Republican Party, maximize the votes in that area. So yeah, with the YLS especially, the Youth Leadership School with Leadership Institute, I was able to have lectures for 2 days. It's like a boot camp, very hardcore, and they teach you to have grit, and they call them 3 a.m.ers. 3 a.m.ers are guys that at 3 a.m. you can call and they'll be awake and they'll be ready to do anything. That's what I really learned this summer.
So utilizing that now, and you're going to start running for your first position in office, and I'm so excited about that. What we can tell our viewers at all age, parents or adults and young adults, or just whoever is watching us, what they can take for that experience that you're being through, and what is the message that we can send, not only as your experience with other organizations, but especially now in TLC under Leadership Latino, because your first exposure in politics and conservative values, it was with TLC at the young age that you were helping me to, to film and conduct interviews and helping me to work with that. What will be the message?
Well, hey, don't discredit yourself. You always will have an opportunity. Don't think that you're not good enough to run for a position, because you are. Everyone is eligible to do this. This is what really Texas Latino conservatives has taught me. And like I said before, Joel Castro, people that ran at 18 years old, have really inspired me. Just know that you're not young enough, or you're not too young. You're not, you shouldn't discredit yourself for being Latino or being a certain race or gender or whatever. You can still win a race. You can still mobilize voters. You can still inspire people.
And this is the beauty of TLC and all the work that we've been doing for the last 5 years, and also now under Leadership Latino, that we have our upcoming class in August 4th and 5th. And I mean, we've been conducting these classes during the last 5 years, and we have people like Mayra Flores coming out of that, and Dan Corral, and we have other several, as a long list of students that started with us, and now they're running for office or they are already in a position. And that's why when I introduce our first guest, she is Gena Prickette. She is the director of Leadership Latino, and she's gonna give us the more insight about the program and how do we can participate, or you can participate, and also it's at no cost. And this is the most beautiful thing, that you can learn from A to Z how to run for office, file from the first moment that you file for any position, till compliance, ethics, media training, everything that we see in these classes of Leadership Latino. So welcome, Gena, and please tell us about this amazing program that people are gonna about to be in the class in August, but we've been doing this for several years.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Leadership Latino Elect is what we're about to have next month. We've had a couple of those that are completely focused on people who are running for office or who are even thinking about running for office, perhaps in the coming year or two. And like you said, we train them on everything from compliance, public speaking, um, website graphics, how to record, what kind of equipment they might need, um, everything that they could possibly need to get their campaign started. Volunteers. We have a great group of speakers that are very knowledgeable, been doing this for years, and they are super helpful. We have they're available all the time for our graduates. They have their own Facebook page that they can interact with those experts. They can contact them anytime. It's just a great resource to have in your back pocket. We have people who have taken our class that have run from everything from U.S. Congress to a precinct chair or a school board or community college board, in anything that they are running for, especially some of those down ballot races that you might not, have hire a consulting firm or hire a graphic artist to do your print ads and things like that, smaller budget races, but we can help you, and we can help you get elected and start making a difference in your own community.
Yeah, so it's very important to take this event day by day, plan out what's right ahead of you. But I wanted to ask, what are your long-term goals for the program, and how do you envision its role in shaping Texas politics in the future?
Yes, just to keep holding the classes, keep getting new students in from all over the state, and to keep training them for a race. I know Orlando talks about in his portion of things. Sometimes you're not successful on your first race. It takes multiple times sometimes to get your foot in the door and get your name out there. But that's our long-term goal, is to just keep training young conservatives, any age conservatives, really, to keep running and to make a difference in their own communities.
Gena, not only people that want to run for office can take advantage of this program, but also people that want to get involved as a fundraiser, as a volunteer, wall blocking, and many other things that a candidate needs in the campaign. So tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. We have, in doing these programs, we have found a huge need for Latinos to be involved in every aspect of politics, to be staffers working for someone in office, graphic designers, website designers, all those things that that a candidate would need. There's a huge need for Latinos to be in that position. Also, like you said, grassroots activism, like Hadi is doing, mobilizing his own community, getting the word out there, being an example and an inspiration to others to vote their values and to get involved in politics.
So can you share any success stories of any people that have gone through Leadership Latino?
Well, I would say the one sitting right in front of me, from going from behind the camera to in front of the camera and running for your first race. So hats off to you, Hattie. But
Thank you.
yes, we've had several graduates that have run for school board, city council races, all of different positions that they have run for and been successful, and we're super proud of some of them. Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned grassroots. Why do you think that rather than focusing on national politics and national issues, why is it so important to focus on grassroots issues?
National politics is obviously super important, but real change that affects your day to day life happens in your own local community. That happens in your school board, your city council. Those races are the ones that affect your daily life. Those are the people that you can pick up the phone and call and actually talk to a human being that is your neighbor, that is your community member, and get your voice heard quickly and sometimes more effectively, I would guess. So I think it makes a huge difference to get involved in local politics.
Gina, another benefit that I want to highlight to people that are watching us and still want to come to our class, because we can still have more students coming to our class. So tell us about the benefit that they don't have to pay. We also give them a hotel, and we give them food, and also we pay for a part of, or we up to $300 of transportation. All of those things, because sometimes people say, like, okay, but I'm coming from out of Houston, so I don't have the money to travel or something like that. So give us the insight of the benefits of this.
Yes, absolutely. We're so blessed and have some generous um, donors and supporters that have made it possible to have people come to our class from all over the state. It makes it easy, try to make it as easy as possible for someone to come. So whether they're flying or they're driving, we provide a hotel room for the night between the two classes. It's a Friday night and a Saturday class. We provide a hotel room for Friday night. We have dinner Friday night. We have lunch on Saturday for them. And then, yes, we also will reimburse them up to $300 for things to cover their airfare, a rental car, gas, anything like that that it takes to transport them to Houston. We can help them with that. We want to make it as accessible as possible for anyone that wants to come.
So, Gina, tell us about what they can expect in the class, because before we used to do only one day. Now it's going to be they arriving on the 4th, and we're going to have dinner that day, and then what else we're going to have that day, and then what is going to be the program on the 5th. And also, I wanted you tell us, not only they're going to be getting all this information and guidance about how to run for office, but also they can have access of, if they don't have nobody to make their website, if they don't have nobody to take their headshots. So tell us all of those details that are very important in a campaign.
Yes, of course. Yes, the benefit of holding the class multiple times is we keep getting more and more feedback from the people who have taken our class. And one of the things that they kept saying is they'd like more time with each of the presenters. So starting this class, we're going to start on Friday evening. And not only will we have dinner, but we'll have two of the sessions on Friday evening about public speaking, and also about understanding why you want to run for office, making sure you get that down in your head, exactly why you're running for office, so you can articulate that, know how to say it, know how to tell somebody, know how to talk to somebody in a candidate forum, or just going out block walking, meeting people, being able to effectively articulate exactly why you believe the way you believe and why you're running for office. So we'll do all that on Friday night, plus have some dinner. And then we'll start early on Saturday with fundraising, volunteers, compliance, media. Hattie is going to be one of our presenters on getting youth involved, young people involved in your campaign. All of that will take place on Saturday. And as you say, we have opportunity for headshots. We'll take headshots for you, provide you with all the digital images for your headshot for you to go back and use on your website, your social media. You'll have professional headshots that you can take with you. We're going to teach them all about public speaking, what they will need to just set up a camera, state their message clearly, and get that posted on their social media right away. We'll take everything. We have access to all of our presenters even after the class is over. If they have something comes up in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, they can contact that person and ask their questions.
And for the first time, we're including a half an hour presentation that is going to be conducted by Hadi. So Hadi, tell us about your presentation that is going to be now included in the class, because it's very important to send the message to the new generation and understand how to send the message to the new generation. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so my presentation is all about getting Gen Z involved. Basically, I'll take what I learned in Leadership Institute and Turning Point, and I'll apply that to my presentation. I'll show the candidates or whatever people are at the presentation, and I'll show them how to effectively communicate to the youth, how to effectively mobilize them and get them involved. It's really hard to get the youth interested, and people think that, especially on college campuses, that it's dominantly liberal, which is, it's not true. Really, what kids do is they're very oblivious. They don't really care too much about politics, so essentially whoever reaches out to them more, whoever contacts them more, that's what they'll follow, and that's what I'm going to here to present.
How do you see the difference, Hadi, between how to send a message to people like me, how do we receive the message like me, and versus your generation? Because something that even at home I don't understand when you guys are texting through Snapchat and instead of texting normal, and I always say, why you guys cannot text normal? And you say, well, what is normal? Normal for us is that. So tell us about that, because many people don't understand, and even still me that I have you guys as my kids, I don't understand many things.
Yeah, so essentially social media is very important. You're going to have to get on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, not as much actually, because Facebook is more predominantly adults, older people, but you're going to have to really focus on social media. I'm going to talk a lot about how to mobilize people on your campus, college campuses. So tabling is very important. Flyers is very important. I'm going to talk about how to host events and how to get people there, how to incentivize. QR codes are very important to do that. So you get somebody to scan a QR code, you get their data. That way you can have them on a platform or on a data set that you can use to reach out to these people. And essentially, to get their data, you're going to have to incentivize them by giving them merchandise, free food, things like that. So I'll talk a lot about that kind of stuff.
So Gena, so now we need to upgrade ourselves too in TLC with Leadership Latino. So that's why we're including his presentation, because today is very important to reach out to this generation that actually, I mean, we're clueless. I mean, you have a 17 years old. I have
Yes.
twins, 18 years old, and even us as a moms, it's hard to understand and hard to keep up with them and how to send the message even with them at home. So even to communicate with them at home is really difficult. So I don't imagine how candidates are having this challenge to communicate with the Gen Z voters.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
I think Hattie's going to be, can't wait.
yeah, I call the youth the sleeping giant, just like they call the Latinos a sleeping giant. The amount of eligible voters that are younger is actually insane. Like nobody really realizes that, and nobody really tries to reach out to them because they don't think it's possible, but it is. It's very possible, and that could ultimately decide you winning or losing an election.
What do you think, Gena?
Yeah. I think it's great. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, Gena, thank you so much. So invite us again to our next class in Leadership Latino and how to register.
Yes, if anyone is out there and they are interested in attending the class, or even if you know someone, you want to tell them about it, it's very easy. Our website is leadershiplatino.com. And if you wanted to, you can, of course, go to leadershiplatino.com. You can find the link, but it's leadershiplatino.com/apply. And that will get you an application. Fill that out, and we will get in contact with you.
Great, Gina. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in August 4 here at the Leadership Latino class.
Yes, look forward to seeing you both.
Thank you so much. Well, and talking
Okay.
about like telling somebody that you know that is interested in politics and share this information and share the link and share this amazing program of Leadership Latino, I recently shared this program with one of my dear friend and also slash colleague, Yuri Gonzalez. Yuri Gonzalez not only used to work with me in media at Univision, but then fast forward, she started working in the English market and a bilingual reporter, anchor, and then now she is the city of Pharr, director of communications. So not only I love you, Yuri, but I'm super proud of you. And you recently visited us here in Houston because you still have family here and friends like me. We went dinner, we have fun, and you were telling me about your interest to maybe consider running for office. So when you told me that, I was like, wow, it's amazing because I mean, you're perfect profile for that. You're young, you have full energy, you are fully bilingual, you understand media at all levels in radio, TV, and all levels. And also now you're working in a government and you are the City of Pharr Communications Director. So, welcome, Yuri. Thank you for your time. And I want to hear your story first, your background, before we come from your background in media, how to jump to a position in the government, and now the desire to run for office.
Right. And the disclaimer is that I don't have a specific title right now. So it's important to mention that. It's important to mention that with TLC, I do want to explore the process. I want to learn the dynamics and I want to understand the steps, right? I think this will help me in my arena currently and in city government, but also on a personal standpoint, right? So thank you for the invite, Andrea. And first of all, I want to say, I'm so proud of your son. I mean, the evolution and just listening to him at 18. I'm here wondering, why didn't I take any of these leadership classes at a younger age? Why wasn't I involved? And it goes back to perhaps my parents weren't really pushing me to do this, right? And I kind of just learned throughout the way with media what my passions were. But I think you've also been fundamental in his motivation, Andrea. So props to you and your wonderful son. I'm sure he's going to do great. And I can't wait to see the evolution of his political career. So let's take it back, changing gears. Yeah, you mentioned I started in media and at a very young age, at 18, working in radio and entertainment, which was completely different from hard news, right? Transitioning into entertainment, soft news, and then covering the harder stories here in the border as a bilingual reporter for our current or our local ABC affiliate. I mean, just look at the evolution of all these media platforms. You go from talk radio to city government. I mean, on the spectrum of the dynamics, it's completely different. But there is one thing that makes all of these platforms the same, that allowed me to do one thing, and that was connect with my Hispanic or Latino community. Whether I was in radio, whether I was in entertainment, whether I was in news, and now in city government, of course, it's still the same approach. You're still connecting with an audience, you're still connecting with people on a daily. And so when people ask me, it's very different now. It is, but it really isn't because I'm still engaging on a daily with our community, with their concerns, with their issues. And I think that's where my passion, has recently amplified in the area of getting involved with your community, giving more, and being a voice for the voiceless.
Yeah, so you have experience hosting radio shows and reporting on countless stories. How do you see that the most effective medium of connecting with the Latino community? Like, for example, a year ago or 2 years ago with Mayra Flores, we filmed a commercial with a grandma, an abuela, cooking. What was it? What was she cooking?
Yeah, yeah. She was at the kitchen cooking, and it was the Abuelita commercial that is very famous in in TLC and our platforms. And we were filming the Abuelita commercial, and it was like the Abuelita passing the values, the conservative values, to the young generation. So
Yeah, so that was very impactful for me, and I just wanted to know what do you think is the most effective medium of connecting with the Latino community?
I think it's definitely just staying true to yourself. I mean, with all these mediums that we have now in forms of communication, you can't fool your community. I think your message can get across through a screen, through a voice message, through a text message, through an email. So if you're authentic and true to yourself, your core values, there's definitely a connection with your community. And I think it's also important to have a direct one-on-one approach. I know Gen Zs are very big on, Andrea just mentioned it, the text messaging. I have a department of 10 employees, and my team, they're all in their early 20s, and they'll text me when they're just outside of my office and they can talk to me. So I think, just having that direct approach, really grassroots, really just talking to people. And I know that for a fact because as a reporter, when COVID hit, we had flexibility of doing virtual interviews. And believe me, it was not the same thing. There's something about that connection, just getting in front of somebody and talking and connecting, that is still the best approach and the best way to have somebody hear your message.
Yeah, so working for major media corporations like CBS and Univision, like you were mentioning, you were able to see the state of the media landscape and how certain groups and stories were portrayed. Uh, how do you, how has your experience with that shaped your perspective on modern media and how they portray the Latino community?
Definitely. And how do you bring up an important point because I feel the media is always getting attacked. It's always the media, press, fake news, fake news. And that really discourages legit journalism, legit reporters. As a former reporter, I know that we need to be cognizant and leave our personal opinion out of the story. We don't apply our thoughts into that story, but you listen to all spectrums of the person that has a concern, or as they say, both sides of the story. You put your story together, you put the facts out there, you do your research through credible sources, you put the story out there, and then you let your viewer decide, right? And I think that's important. And again, people understand if you're being legit. Again, it applies to storytelling, it applies to script writing, it applies to an interview like the one we're conducting right now. It's a different time. People are being vocal about issues, people are alert, and you can't fool people. So it's important to just put the story out there and put the facts. Did I get attacked many times as a reporter? Absolutely. Once again, because sometimes community feels that you're, you know, being one-sided. And that's why it's important to make sure you listen to all, identities or ideologies of the spectrum, to make sure that your message is out there and it's being true, not only to yourself as a reporter, but to the community, because that will get you to engage.
Yuri, having the experience working in the media in the
Mhm.
border, in the valley, and seeing what is being going on in that area of our state, and how it is impacting the state and the country in immigration and health issues and everything. And now having also in first hand seeing working for the city of Pharr. So tell me what that impacting you for now, thinking that you may want to run for office and trying to do something not only for the Hispanic community, but for the state in general and for the country, because we don't know what position you will think in maybe in the future. But regardless, it started from something to help our community based on your experience.
Absolutely. Well, I think the biggest awakening for me, this region is my home. Even though I lived in Houston for 12 years, this border area, which is four counties connected, Willacy, Hidalgo, Star, and Cameron, well, these four counties make up, a very strong border in the sense of working people, people that work every single day, that get up every morning and really work and fight. So my awakening happened during COVID. Once again, being a field reporter, I didn't have the option and you know, that liberty to just work from home. I had to hit the fields every day with a face mask on and just hit the field to interview many people. We have many rural communities, Andrea, and we have a lot of underserved areas as well. So when I'm approaching so many homes on a daily, just think about it. Every day, your job is to go to these rural areas, and in Spanish, they're referred to as colonias. You really see a reality. You see a reality of major needs that our region wants, right? And so I think that's when my brain started shifting into doing more, getting involved with nonprofits, or just being a volunteer to help so many people in our community. The other thing that bothers me is that sometimes the view on the border is so negative that the only issue that they see is immigration. There's an issue with an immigration. There's an issue. There's so many other things that we're dealing with, let's talk about broadband. Can you believe that a few years ago the city of Pharr was considered the number one most disconnected city in the nation? You would think that by now everybody has internet service, right? Well, no, there's still so many areas of people that don't have access to internet, something that might be a basic service for you, but some people don't have access to internet. So, it's many needs that people don't understand on a national level that I get to see here on a daily, because I am a product and a Valley native, but I get to see it every day. So that's one of the things that I've enjoyed doing with city government, helping the communities. Right now, obviously, my focus is the city of Pharr because I am the city of Pharr media communications director. But obviously, I want to try to get involved with more than just my city. You want to try to see this as a region. But there's so many other needs, Andrea, not just an issue with immigration. There's other needs. And going back to the broadband project, there is more funding coming in. There is more money being allocated to these communities, which is great. But if you don't have the right voices in the right seat to keep advocating for these rural areas, well, then how is change going to happen? I piggyback of Gena's comment. How do you want a global impact when it all starts local? So again, our mayor here in the city of Pharr is really big on giving back, getting involved. So I really think that he's also been an inspiration in my career, just being a mentor and doing more than what you're just doing with your title, with media communications. I'm happy and I'm proud to do this for the city, but you want to do more. So I don't know if that kind of answered your question, Andrea, or do you want me to elaborate on immigration?
Well, I maybe I could expand on that. So you mentioned the word awakening. That's a great word. Uh, so maybe expanding on immigration and certain issues that you really focus on. Uh, as a native of Starr County, how has your upbringing influenced your values and your philosophy, and how has that changed through your life experiences working in the city of Pharr, working on media, and certain things like that?
Absolutely. Well, your mom mentioned it, and I think it's a goal to everything. Who you become in life as an adult and everything that's shaped you throughout life, definitely the core values start at home. My solid foundation has been my parents that have been two very strong working immigrants that just tried to make sure that I had good education, that I had, just being a good person, just helping others. And then eventually that passion grew over the years with just working so closely with people in your community, that again, that human interaction and listening to their needs and covering countless stories that sometimes were heartbreaking, there is a connection definitely that brings that awakening moment. So definitely, my parents are my core values. Stark County, very small community. We had one high school growing up, so the same people you went to kindergarten, imagine, are the same people you're going to see prom night. So there's that joke on, hey, be careful who you date because everybody's going to remember that boyfriend you had for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So, it's true. I grew up in a very, very small community, but looking back, I had great teachers, and there was great leaders that really influenced me in getting out of my comfort zone, and just leaving the valley was a huge step. Leaving the valley at 18 and just leaving a small town and just going into a monster market like Houston, which is just so diverse and so big. I mean, you can imagine, but definitely Stark County and my parents were my core values very early on.
I want to bring Gina, that I think she was off the air, but she is still watching us. And I want to bring Gina because I want your thoughts, Gina, after listening everything that Yuri has been saying and the inspiration and the awareness that she is talking about. And the connection now that she feels like, oh my god, I mean, I wish I have these kind of programs when I was growing up as a young age, like Hadi has the opportunity to live. And now we're bringing this to the young community, to the young adults, and to, I mean, Judy is very young still, but not like as Hadi. But listening to her story, and this is what is now TLC doing and is providing, and is a platform for and Leadership Latino, not only TLC but Leadership Latino, providing to our community and our people in the state of Texas. So I want your thoughts, Gina.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear your story. Yuri is inspirational, to see where you've come and what you're kind of thinking about in the future, and that's what we need. Like anyone who's listening, maybe it's not you that's thinking about running, but if you can be that influence, like you talked about your parents and your community being that influence on you. Anyone who's listening who might know someone is like, you should run for office one day. You'd be great. Or you know that they kind of have that aspiration, share our program with them and help us get the word out, because like you said, it's like, oh, why didn't I do these things when I was young? And it's just, we just have to get the word out and make sure that people know about them and take advantage of the situation, because like Andre has mentioned, it's a great opportunity because you can literally come to our class at no cost to you whatsoever, and there's not many of those opportunities around. Usually they cost a lot of money to get that kind of expertise, and we're fortunate to be able to provide it completely free. So we just need help getting the word out.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Gina. And if I may just jump in here and just add a comment really quick. I don't want to sell myself short and say that I am not interested. I'm very interested in understanding the process. I mean, Hadi is very fortunate that he gets to learn this process so at 18. I want to learn the process now, whether it's for my future aspirations or whether it's just to be more knowledgeable, given the fact that I work with city politics. Either way, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for me now, and I can't wait to be there next weekend.
Yes. We
Yeah.
look
So
forward to having you.
with the director of Leadership Latino on the right and a potential future candidate on the left, how do you think, Yuri, that Leadership Latino will aid you in the political process, or at least understanding it?
Well, your mom mentioned that we had dinner, and we had a long conversation, and she really embedded a seed in my brain. And I was just thinking, she brought a lot of good points. She mentioned getting involved is important. Um, but not only just getting involved in your city, just having a bigger impact for the region or for the state is important, and just being the voice for the voiceless. Again, your mom has been a great mentor in my career, and she mentioned a lot of the opportunities and a lot of the workshops that I can learn from next weekend in the TLC conference. And again, I want to explore it. I want to explore it and just gain all the knowledge I can. I love connecting with mentors. I love hearing other people's stories. And that's the only way that I can connect, learn more about it, to understand my pathway and where my passion sits. Because you can have a great voice and you can be a great advocate, but you need to have the voice in the right seat. So that's really what I want to take away from TLC this upcoming weekend. Where is the best place for my strengths, my passion? So I can't wait to explore and learn more about it.
And Gina, for uh, Yuri's individual experience, how do you think that Leadership Latino would help her in the political process or understanding it?
Yes, just as she was talking, I was thinking what wide open opportunities she has, whether she decides she wants to run for office, but also you can have such influence and such a voice in politics by working with politicians who are already elected. There's a huge need for staffers to be someone's chief of staff, to go to Austin, to go to Washington, D.C., to be in the room, as the Hamilton musical says, to be in the room where things happen, to have that influence on the person who's been elected. But that those elected officials have so many people around them, advising them, giving them feedback, helping understand all the issues, and that can be a very powerful way to make a change as well. So I'm excited for Yuri and for all those that are coming to take the class. There's so much opportunity out there, and we just want to help them get there.
Gina, what has been the major challenge that we've been having in Leadership Latino through all the classes from the beginning that we start this program? Of course, every class is we've been improving many things as we learn from the past, from the previous class. So, but what do you see that is the biggest challenge, not only for Leadership Latino, but also for the attendees?
Well, I think the biggest challenge that we've faced over the years of doing the class is just getting people there. We started traveling to the different cities. So for a while, we used to go around the state to different cities, and while that was effective, we decided to use our resources instead of paying to travel this whole group of speakers around to places. We'll use that same amount of money to bring people in. And it just creates a more focused weekend when you've traveled away. When you're kind of in your own, still in your own town, it's easy to, oh, I've got to dart out and take somebody to soccer practice, and I've got to pick up, and I've got this thing this afternoon, and you're distracted. So we've over the years found that it's a more focused group, and you can really sit and concentrate and think about what you're learning when you've traveled there and you're kind of away from your daily life distractions. So I think that's been a challenge that we've kind of evolved with, and working through that one, and then just getting the word out is the biggest challenge that we've always faced. As soon as someone hears about it, they're like, "Oh yes, absolutely, I want to come," or "I wish I would have known about it," or "I wish my friend could have come." So just getting the word out is a big challenge.
All right. So Yuri, we also not only can't wait to see you here, but also invite you to invite more people in Pharr or in your area, your friends and colleagues and everybody that wants to understand the process in the political arena, but also maybe they have a desire to run for office, but they don't know where to start.
Absolutely, Andrea. I am really excited, and I'll definitely share the message around my colleagues, and I can't wait to see you. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Gina, great meeting you. I can't wait to see you. And Andrea, you've been a great inspiration in my career too at a very young age. So thank you so much for all the advice, the feedback. Even sometimes I didn't want to hear it, but you gave me that feedback and you were tough on me. I know that it was just, to just bring the best out of me. So I really appreciate everything you've done for me.
All right. Well, we're gonna see you on August 4th and 5th. I can't wait for that and for you to learn, but also to share your thoughts after the class and to then put it in action.
the ultimate goal, right? That's what we all want.
Absolutely. Well, Gina and Yuri, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to see you guys in the next Leadership Latino class.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thank you, Yuri. Bye bye. Well, back to you, Hadi. I cannot, it's no words to express how proud I am of you. But I wanted you to explain our viewers that position that you're running for, what it that means, and what is the doors that will open not only for you but other candidates.
Yeah, sure. So a precinct chair, the term is 2 years. Essentially, like I said before, uh, you are basically the Republican Party representative or Democratic representative in your area. So my area will be where we live in Hunters Creek, and the current representative is about to get out in 2024, and then that's where I'll get in. Essentially, what I'll do is I'll be block walking, I'll be door knocking, I'll be trying to do anything I can to maximize the Republican vote in my area.
And also helping candidates to you're gonna be like the
Exactly.
connector between the community and certain parts of the community with the candidates, because you're gonna meet with candidates and help them get the word out.
Yeah, that's essentially what you want to do. It's just to mobilize voters. So you're going to reach out to all the people in your neighborhood and tell them about the candidates. Uh, I'm sure there'll be text messaging involved. You'll hand out signs. You'll be involved with doing all the stuff behind the scenes.
What do you see that is the biggest challenge that politicians and leaders in the community that are running for office are having when it comes to reach out your generation?
Well, reaching out to my generation takes a very different approach to reaching out to adults. Adults would see those methods as unconventional. Essentially, you want to get on social media platforms, like I said before. You want to get in touch with the issues that the youth is facing. So, let's say education, let's say college education as well, not only high school. Um, taxes is what we're going to be paying soon. I guess right now it's not too much of an issue for us, but it's going to definitely affect us in the future. Um, Anything on race and gender is very difficult to touch, but it's something that you're going to have to address. And yeah, that's essentially the issue that we're facing.
What you've been seeing, because we're just like a year ago, we were going through the experience to sending up college applications, and as you guys were learning, and I was learning the same because I didn't grow up in this country, so for me it was also a big challenge. And I think what I've been seeing through all these years being a mom is that schools don't teach kids and don't prepare kids for life. And I've been seeing it because I've been preparing you guys for life. I remember at the young age, you guys learn how to write a check, how to use a ATM card, how to do many other things that many of your friends, even at this point, they're clueless. They don't even know. So I think like education, it's one of the things that preparing your generation for real life.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the education in the home is really the most important thing. Who am I to tell you how to parent? But I think that teaching your kids about personal finance, teaching your kids family values, the nuclear family is the strongest threshold for children to be strong in what they believe, have high self esteem. Um, Tell kids to get involved, get a job, get involved in your community, volunteer, do things like that. Helping out your community, sharing is caring. It's the best thing. It's brought me the most satisfaction, of course, and that's something you have to learn through work, through grit, and it's not something that you learn at school really. But depends if you get involved in your school and you try to outreach to the kids around you, build a community of driven kids that want to help out the community, then go ahead and do that.
And not give them everything. Make them
Yeah,
work for things.
of course. Yeah, working is definitely has taught me the most out of everything. Um, I've been I've had a power washing company. I started DJing when I was 16. I've been doing a lot of different jobs since. I'm an intern now at an artificial intelligence company. So I've been all over the place, but working, making my own money, and learning how to spend, save, and invest that is definitely the most beneficial thing.
Okay, well, call to action. What what is the next step? What will be the message?
Well, for me, the next step is I'm going to college at Texas A&M. Hopefully, I can get involved and make a good impact over there. But for everyone out there, just take the first step. Getting involved, showing up is the first step. So do that, and just know that you're good enough. That's my only message. Know you're good enough.
Well, thank you, Hadi, so much for co-host and filling up for Orlando. That is also working on sending the message in another city. He's speaking in another city and in front of many people that also are part of, this cause that we're trying to keep our conservative values. So thank you, Hadi, so much.
Actually, another thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Have a mentor. Orlando Sanchez, great mentor. A lot of great mentors in my life. That's something that when you're young is very beneficial to you. Your parents are great mentors too, but try to have somebody that is not your parent and can teach you life lessons and can teach you the value of hard work. So that's another thing. So I just wanted to mention because I heard Orlando Sanchez.
So you just thank you, Orlando Sanchez on the
Yeah,
air.
he's like Atlas. He carries the earth on his back.
Oh, that's gonna boost his ego a lot. He's gonna be so happy with that comment. You just make his day. I'm gonna make sure that he watch the show.
We pull on his leg, but he does a lot for Texas. So
He does.
yeah,
He does, for sure. Well, thank you and good luck in your, not only in college, but the new adventure and journey with candidates for Harris County Precinct Chair, and for everything that you're doing, not only for yourself, but for yourself to help others. And that's very important. And I'm looking to see your presentation in August 5th in Leadership Latino. So if you haven't get involved yet, not only on TLC, but in Leadership Latino, go to our website, TexasLatinoConservatives.com, TexasLatinoConservatives.com. Just right there, you're going to see that link on the top for Leadership Latino. You can register, and also you can become a member of TLC, also participate in Leadership Latino. Stay tuned of our events. We're having classes every year of Leadership Latino, but our upcoming class, and we still have spaces on our upcoming class in August 4th and 5th, is coming up. And remember, it's at no cost. And also, if you're coming from out of Houston, we're gonna pay for hotel, for food, and also up to $300 in transportation, meaning if you want to fly or you want to drive, we're going to compensate you for that. And the most and the best compensation that you're going to have is that you're going to learn a lot with Leadership Latino under Texas Latino Conservative. Well, gracias por habernos acompañado, por haber estado con nosotros en este programa especial. Gracias, Hadi.
Fue un placer.
Y nos vemos el próximo miércoles. Ahora te voy a dejar que te despidas un poquito en español.
Pues gracias por todo. Fue una oportunidad buenísima estar aquí. Y pues viene Texas Latino Conservatives
Leadership Latino.
And I'm excited to speak to you there. So, ciao.
Chao, chao. Nos vemos el próximo miércoles.